we interrupt this program. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow.
What's the deal? It's your boy Rodney the Boss, multi-platinum and Grammy Award-winning producer of Lil Wayne on the Carter 3, Plies, Lil Boosie, Mr. Magic, Rocco. The list just goes on. You know what I'm saying? I'm rocking with my girl Amber Alert on the Takeover on the AATI network.
15 nuclear bombs have detonated in several areas across the country. They include Baltimore, Boston, Chicago, Denver, Detroit, Los Angeles, Las Vegas,
Riff.
New York,
You're rocking with Gemini
Pennsylvania,
the Queen.
Portland, Maine, Portland, Oregon, San Francisco, San Diego, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. At this time, all residents within a 400-mile radius of these areas should seek a fallout shelter. Fallout is a product of nuclear attacks. Prolonged exposure
What up, man? It's your boy
to
DJ Nothing Nice,
result in
WRDB,
certain
Orlando,
death.
Florida.
If there is a nearby location that has been designated as a fallout shelter, go there now. Otherwise, seek shelter in the interior part of the strong building on the lowest floor. Make sure you have food, water, and a battery-powered radio with you. Do not exit the fallout shelter until the all-clear has been given. Tune to a station that is serving your area for more information. The President will be speaking on all stations shortly.
Big boy
Stand by for this message.
Big boy things, you know what I'm saying? You got to do the
This
big
is an
boy
emergency
things.
action
You know what I'm saying?
notification.
But it is what it is,
All
man. Holla at
broadcast
your
and
boy, man.
cable
DJ Nothing
systems
Nice,
shall
man. We
transmit
in here,
this
man. Let's go.
emergency action
Yeah.
notification message. This station has interrupted its regular program at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency alert system. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air, providing news and information to the public in assigned areas. This is WPIX. We will continue to serve the New York City area. If you are not in this local area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your local area. You are listening to the emergency alert system serving the New York City area.
All right, people. I was playing a little bit, but I just got to tell y'all this real quick, because if you have not been paying attention, goodness gracious, there were the Chinese spy balloons that keep going over certain places in the United States. We have Alaska. We have, what is that, South Dakota? I don't know me maps, but we have a lot of them, right? And just today, they hit Michigan in the lowest form and got shot down. So what's really up? Because a lot of people, I am a conspiracy theorist to the core. But baby, a lot of stuff is not making sense. Because honestly, if it was aliens, they would have been picked me and my kids up. So what's really up? What's really happening? Because y'all really talking nonsense. I know the aliens would come get us. And the spy balloons. Everybody spies on us. Isn't TikTok from China? Hello?
Another object, this time making this the fourth shoot down in about 1 week. Joining us now is Lucas Tomlinson with the latest. Lucas.
Well, good afternoon. This is the fourth time in 8 days the U.S. military has shot down an object over North America, certainly unprecedented in the history of this country. We just learned some new details from Michigan Congressman Jack Bergman, of course, a retired Marine Corps three-star general, former C-46 pilot, which Joey knows all about, of course. He says this a U.S. Air Force F-16 fighter jet shot down a mysterious octagonal object over Lake Huron earlier today using a Sidewinder missile. That object flying at 20,000 feet. That's notable because that's much lower than those two objects shot down over the past 2 days. This is now the third object shot down in the past 3 days, guys, starting on Friday when an object was shot down on the north coast of Alaska, as you see here on this chart, right on the northern coast of Alaska. That search for the debris has been hampered by rough weather. It's minus 20 degrees up there. It's very, very difficult. And then, of course, yesterday, another object was blasted out of the sky by a U.S. Air Force F-22 Raptor. It's notable that it was a U.S. Air Force jet shooting this thing down over the sky skies of Canada and Canadian airspace.
Not Canada.
From President
Y'all
Biden
making
and
Canada
Canada's
be
Prime
violent?
Minister. And just as we know now, just moments ago, a U.S. Air Force F-16 fighter jet shooting down this object over Lake Huron. And of course, this came just hours after some airspace over Lake Michigan had been closed because they thought they detected something. But then NORAD and the FAA lifted that restriction. We don't know if that's because this object had passed through there. Obviously, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron are very close together with the state of Michigan in between. And as you see on the map there on the left side, radar anomaly, just hours after that shoot down of the object over Canadian airspace yesterday, the FAA closed some airspace down over
Do y'all
Montana,
realize how close China
near the border
is?
with Canada, of course, near Malmstrom Air Force Base, home to some U.S. nuclear missile silos. F-15 Eagles were scrambled from Portland, Oregon. They went in. They didn't see anything. And the NORAD later put out a statement, guys, saying it was a radar anomaly, essentially saying this is a false alarm. However, Senator John Tester from Montana was on CBS this morning.
Oh, really?
He believes there was and is something up there. Now, Montana around this area is about 1,500 miles to Lake Michigan, Lake Huron. It's not immediately clear.
So they didn't even blow that.
You know, these
tell me the real story.
Very quickly, of course, when you go back over a week ago, you had that gigantic 2,000-pound Chinese spying apparatus that was shot down off the coast of South Carolina, also by an F-22 Raptor. That one out of Langley Air Force Base. So just one more time, this is the fourth time in 8 days the U.S. military has shot down an object over the skies of North America, guys.
Thank
you, Lucas. And I can imagine folks at home are wondering, you know, first of all, we don't know where the other three are from, where their origins. Right. Correct. Okay. But also you've got to wonder, you know, how can any of these be used to harm us in any way? Are these states testing our perimeter and testing our response? I mean, these are a lot of questions that are coming up, I imagine, for Americans.
What is her name?
Right, Alicia. One thing that's very notable, it appears that these three objects that have been shot down over the last 3 days all were able to penetrate U.S. airspace.
Exactly.
So they're already inside this country. That is very concerning for military officials.
Donald Trump.
NORAD's commanding General Van Herken called it essentially a blind spot. I think he called it a domain awareness gap, a little bit of Pentagonese there. But bottom line is it's a blind spot. But, you know, not unlike the Super Bowl.
A blind spot.
This evening, you know, what do teams, what do countries, adversaries
Man, if they blow up the Super Bowl tonight, I'm going to lose it. But they say that every year.
Happening. However, once again, just a word of caution. Top officials at the Pentagon, here at the White House, we heard from Canada's defense minister last night in Ottawa. She said we do not know the origin of any of these objects.
That's the bomb. It looks like everything that's been going through there.
Oh my God.
So the chemtrails is the bomb.
On Friday.
So it's just been mad bombs being let go.
We ain't even driving the questions we have. Obviously, it's driving our curiosity, our imagination. Our minds are going everywhere, and hopefully we're going to get more information soon. One thing that I'm doing my own research and looking at a report or an update from Jennifer Griffin is basically the idea that we have universities that put balloons of observation. I want to say weather balloon, but even more than that, we have universities that do that, corporations that do that, local municipalities and their weather service that do that.
We always be spying on y'all asses. We didn't know what it was.
Reference these before they shoot them down. Are they looking into where they could be from a
they're trying to ease y'all pain.
Is there any system in place that
nobody's trying to
objects in the sky? One of the comments that Jennifer gave us was one of the senior Pentagon officials said there's trash all in the sky.
Trash.
Yeah, and of course, you remember the time in the Marine Corps. You are very careful what you shoot at. You look at what the target is, what's also behind it. There's no question. This is why the Pentagon, NORAD, are scrambling fighter jets to get a visual ID before opening fire. These aren't just shooting down targets beyond visual range. It's why they're using these AIM-9 Sidewinders. That's a heat-seeking missile. You got to be in short range to use them, and that's why they're being studied for hours. In the case of that gigantic spy balloon that traveled across the United States on that week-long odyssey, of course, they took a lot of time to observe it. But certainly these three objects, they all appear to be a little bit different, however. We heard from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, of course, a member of the Gang of Eight. He is privy to some of the nation's closest held secrets. He called the objects, certainly the one over Canada, shot down a balloon. U.S. officials have told Fox in the past 24 hours the object shot down over Canada was this small metallic balloon, and it was tested together into a small payload. Friday, we heard from John Kirby at the podium here at the White House. You said the object was the size of a small car,
payload.
Certainly much smaller than what was called a giant 2,000-pound Chinese spy apparatus that was the size of 3 school buses. But back to your question, Joey, there's no question visual ID is happening. Of course, you have things like IFF, radar from a weather balloon. You're not going to get IFF, of course. It's unmanned. They don't even file a flight plan. I mean, they might do a notice to airmen, launch those things. But officials tell me it'd be very difficult to think that the U.S. military is just blasting weather balloons out of the sky with $500,000 Sidewinder missiles.
I mean, that's absolutely fair. Right now, we just don't know. They're telling me that we have pictures now. I believe this is the plane going over Lake Huron, the plane that responded to that balloon or that object.
Could be an airliner, let's be fair. I mean, that's really far away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is notable.
The way they try to discredit.
Congressman Jack Bergman is a former Marine Corps 3-star general. He flies CH-46s. Joy, you know about it. You've probably taken a few rides back in your day on those Sea Knights. He knows what he's talking about when he said it was a U.S. Air Force F-16. That's notable, of course. A lot of F-16s in the Air National Guard. Yesterday, you had F-15 Eagles scrambling from Portland to respond to that, what seemingly was a false alarm over Montana. However, you don't have to do a basic dead reckoning to know that, if something is traveling east and it was spotted over Montana last night, this could very well be that same object. We don't know. We do know that Senator John Tester this morning was pretty testy on CBS saying he thought an object was up there. He didn't buy the radar anomaly excuse from NORAD.
Lucas, we also
the aliens are here. The aliens are here. The aliens are here.
21's MVP.
I'm done.
Pop all the balloons and spin the punch. Yeah. I ride through your block, see a in the trunk. I don't know why they keep playing. They better replaying. I'm giving them the blues. Bobby Blue Bland. Together we stand and fall on y'all. Balling with my call it B-ball. These days ain't young money is. I got Mars bars, 3 musketeers. Come through, coupe, same color as veneers. And you know I'm riding with the toast. Cheers, yeah. Now I'm back on my prayers. And y'all's a bunch of squares like I'm red. Me and get head. I make that have kids. Just do it like I just did. Ain't no deeper than me. Dig, you dig? This here, this big is, and I scream, it's whoever it is. I gotta go get down my own places. I got my foot on the line, I'm not racing. I thank God that I am not racing. Rockstar baby, now come to my suite and get locked, baby. Rich, looking at the cops all crazy. That's that Martin Scorsese. Close range, these people are strange, but I bet that and keep your heart in. You can't see these in our range. I'm in the far lane. I'm running the 100-yard game. Swag on infinity. I'm killing them. See the white flag from the enemy. You in your head and leave your dash full of memories. Father, forgive me for my brash delivery. I would try you. I wouldn't lie, dude. I must be sticky because them got their eyes glued. Young money, baby, we like fly food. Y'all can't see us like the bride shoes. I stand tall like a 9'2". I scream you and whoever designed you. If you think you hot, then obviously you are lying to me. We don't lie, we multiply, and then we come divide you. I gotta go get time, I won't waste it. I got my foot on the line, I'm not racing. I thank God that I am not racing. I am not racing. I am not racing.
What up, man? It's your boy DJ Nothing Nice. Everybody be on that
magazine full of you can be my cover girl. Let's got the roll it thicker than a southern girl. Strong on rap like a did 100 curls. Check out how we rock. If this ain't it must be real. I'm hiding in the treetops. I'm wild with pop. You get my candy from your girlfriend's shop. I'm smooth now, rock. And I'm Sunday on etc. Still get a stomach ache every time I speak cops. You better run, because we not. You better run till you bleed stop. You ain't even let's go. T-pop, holding in the ski shop, holding on to V-top. And even if I let go, I still won't G-rock. I gotta go get time, I won't race it. I got my foot on the line, I'm not racing. I thank God that I am.
Hey, it's Riff. You rockin' with Gemini the Queen.
What's the deal? It's your boy Rodney the Boss, multi-platinum and Grammy Award-winning producer of Lil Wayne on the Carter 3, Plies, Lil Boosie, Mr. Magic, Rocco. The list just goes on, you know what I'm saying? I'm rocking with my girl, Amber Alert, on the Takeover on the AATI network.